Hello everybody, we're the Tower of God episode 1 anime review. First off, it immediately stands out, Tower of God. The art style, the, I guess in places, lack of shading. It's clearly not a we ran out of time kind of thing, it's a deliberate art choice. And I like it, you know, the fact that it is so different from everything else makes it stand out, and it's been pretty good so far, you know. I've not read the original webtoon, webcomic, whatever you want to call it. Not read it, don't know anything about it. I was going to say much, don't know anything about it. Just a lot of people been talking this up. So here I am, you know, I'm a newbie, so to speak. So please, webtoon people, if you are watching, no spoils, please, because I will ban you. That's the thing that will happen. Anyway, episode 1 was good. It was a good introduction. It didn't tell you everything. It kind of let you, but you could piece together a lot, like. They're like, there's this tower, there's a thing at the top, it's sort of like a floor thing, I assume, and they weed out, and like a bunch of people challenge it, and then they weed them out as they go up, like a cone. That's how I sort of interpreted just the first episode. If I'm wrong, which I very well may be, easy for me to say, I assume that'll be clear in upcoming episodes, because obviously I'm going to keep watching if you didn't know that. Anyway, let's jump into the episode, see exactly how it all went down. Let's do this. We open up with a little montage of different people who I assume are going to be important characters. Could be wrong though, they could be just one-offs, who knows. And then we get basically what the tower is. Everything is at the top of the tower. Climb the tower. Then we have a kid, his name is Bam, and another kid, her name is Rachel. Also I saw something, I just remembered this. Something about how the spoken names and the subtitle names are different. As long as they're consistent, I don't really care. So there's that. It was an article on Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll have done 3 articles, maybe more, since episode 1 came out. They're really promoting this a lot. They really want this to be a success. So, I mean, if it's good, I'll give them a thumbs up, and if it's bad, I won't. But it's been good so far, and yeah, so that's a thing. Anyway, this Rachel girl, they like. Are cuddling on the floor. They're not actually, just roll with it. She is going to the tower and then disappears, which makes me think it's not like a physical place, it's like more of a ethereal, is that the right word? I could just be wrong. She disappears into light and then arrives there, and then Bam follows her. There's a big old hand that pulls him and is like, nah man, you're coming too. And then he wakes up, talks to this guy called Head On, and he's a caretaker. He's got like a rabbit head. It looked like a rabbit, maybe not a rabbit. Don't really know what it is. And basically he's like, we're in the tower. Go up the tower. Take the first test. Have at it. There's an eel there. Basically, there's a room with an eel. I think it was an eel, giant eel, and an orb. Go break the orb is basically what the first test is. And incredibly brief. I don't need to go super detailed. You watch the episode. He's gonna go do it, and then some girl stops him, kicks him in the face, I should say. He's got a footprint on his face afterwards. That was pretty funny. Her, and then she's got a assistant person, and they're speaking a different language, which I thought was kind of weird. Is that gonna come into play, or was that just a weird thing? Who knows? But then they have a translation orb called a pocket, I think they said, and they're like, here's how you deploy it and undeploy it. Undeploy? Is that a word? Put away, basically. The girl is called Yuri. She's a princess or something. The dude, I guess, is like her handler, caretaker, whatever. Bam, we then learn, is a non-regular, which should be irregular. Non-regular sound, not only does it sound weird, I'm pretty sure in one of the trailers, the trailer I saw, they say irregular, and it's subtitled as irregular, is what I mean. So why would you change it for the actual show? That's kind of weird, and it don't sound as good. So that's the one thing you're allowed to change. Irregular. Fix that, please. She first off tries to get the test difficulty lowered, and then she gives him a fancy sword to go and hack at bitches. Mr. Bam enters the arena and immediately gets eaten, which I believe it was also a scene at the very beginning, but didn't make no sense then. Makes more sense now. However, that's what you're supposed to get eaten. It's like face your death or something. It works. He stabs it a little from the inside, which knocks it out. Then he goes to break the orb. Orb can't be broken. We see a little flashback of him meeting Rachel for the first time. He was like in a tunnel, in that like underground, like Gurren Lagann style, Then he broke out. She was like, hey up, how you doing? She was the first one he met. He had no memories, so he's probably like a god or something that just lost his memories, who knows. But yeah, then they became friends and stuff. But then he was too loud, woke up the beast, talks to the beast a little bit, not the beast, sorry, talks to the sword. Sword makes a bright glow, which smacks the beast across the room, which is pretty cool. Sword is now a woman that decides to give him strength. Turns out the woman sword only likes men, which is why it wasn't letting the princess use its power, or her power, I guess. Fine? Okay, kind of weird, but whatever. It's not weird though, is it? It's actually pretty par for the course. Anyway, then he breaks the orb with the sword and heads up like that with the sword, and the princess and her hands are like, we need our sword back, we're gonna go get that. Head-On's like, you can't be doing that. Or maybe it's the assistant that says that, can't remember. And then she's just like, well, we're doing it. And then they go do it. So nobody could stop them. Who knows? I assume they're going to be recurring characters. Like, they're going to show up a lot more. There are a few in the next segment we'll get to. Head-On also wrecks the eel after that. There's blood everywhere. So that's a thing. Anyway, yeah. Next section, which is the beginning of the second floor, I guess, which I wasn't expecting. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Floor an episode. Didn't think we'd start that in this episode, but hey. Introduced who I assume will be some important characters, so we'll get to that. Bam wakes up in like a field, like a rice field or a cornfield. It's a field with those big old yellow things. You know what I mean? You've seen them. The name honestly, wheat field? The name honestly escapes me. I think it's a wheat field. Basically, the test for this one, there are 400 people here. 200 can go up. Other 200, kill them, you know? Although they didn't say kill them, they just said remove 200. So I guess if you could peacefully convince them to not progress any further, that would work too. But I don't think that's much of an option. Much chance of that happening. Could be wrong though. Who knows? After this, there's a big old segment. Bam immediately gets confronted by a big guy who then proceeds to get shot with arrows. Then the archer gets sniped. And then the sniper gets stopped by another dude, who is Dino Spear guy. There's also a dude with a briefcase who does a cool thing as well. There's a green girl. Most of these, I'm assuming, going to be pretty important characters. The briefcase guy stops Bam from killing this other guy because he doesn't think it's going to work because of his weak knees or something. Then the Dino Spear guy wants to fight Bam, more because of Bam's got a pretty shiny sword that, could probably do a lot of damage. That was where we ended the first episode. Didn't mention the opening. The opening's pretty bopping, It's not something I would typically listen to regularly, but it's bopping, I was like, yeah, it's good, like that. It was alright. Don't remember the ending. It's probably bopping as well. But yeah, that was the end of the first episode. First episode looks promising, I'm invested, Don't know how popular this show actually is. Like, looking at the numbers on my anime list, they're not as high as I would have expected, considering how many people are talking this up. I think it may be a case of a very hardcore fan base, which is not a bad thing. That is not a negative. As long as people don't start attacking me for not knowing anything. As a noob, I think this is good. So there's that. Anyway, I can't really think of too much else to say other than it was a good start. Can't wait to see what happens from here. That's all I can really say. I did read somewhere, I can't remember where exactly it was, that this covered like 6 chapters or something. I assume they're like pretty short chapters, or either pretty short or pretty uneventful chapters, these opening. Or they want to like get the opening quite quick to get to the more exciting stuff maybe. I'm not an expert on that. I could be completely wrong. I just read that somewhere. Anyway, I'll wrap this up here just because I've ran out of things to say essentially. Thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and stuff for more reviews. I will see you next week for another episode of this. It'll be good. See you then, and bye guys.